Hey everyone, it's Terry here. Welcome to day 21 of our Leap to Lead program. You may have noticed that yesterday was our Sunday motivation and I did skip it because I was a little delayed in our Saturday's post. So I noticed some of you were commenting along with that and I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to give you a break. So today is going to be kind of a combined of a Sunday motivation and our Monday training. So just as a catch up, this is our last week of Leap to Lead. So this is it. After this, you're done. And I already know 2 of you have already promoted to lead, so congratulations. But we're not done yet, okay? This week is really crucial to the success of your business. So don't stop. Keep going. I know you can do this. There's some great things that are happening that are already in the works for this month, and I cannot wait to share those with you. In fact, there's some great collaboration with some other leaders, including myself, that are really going to help not only you guys, but the people who you're recruiting right now. So it's really awesome what's going on, okay? So tonight's training is all about mindset. Now, for some of you may not have heard about this concept of mindset. This was something that was actually, it transformed my business and my life in a lot of ways. The things we do in our life are everything we do is a decision. We decided to join Scentsy. Nobody made us do it. We made that decision. Like we decide to get out of bed, like we decide to do the dishes or do the laundry, right? Or to work our business. The things we do, we decide how it goes. Also in the same turn, we also decide not to do things. So we also decide negativity in our brains. It's like we're hardwired, especially as us as women. For myself, it's probably the hardest thing is I am my own bully. I don't need anybody else beating me up or making me feel less than myself because I already self-sabotage myself so much. Can I get an amen on that one? If you self-sabotage yourself, give me a hands up, okay? So tonight's training is all about mindset. And my hope is that by the time you are finished listening to this video and completing the homework that's assigned, that you will have a little bit of a different mindset, or you're going to be working toward changing your mindset. So here are some things that I hear a lot, and I said them myself. So when I first joined Scentsy in 2011, I went inactive 8 months later, and it was all my fault. But at the time, I blamed everybody else. Everybody else was everybody else's fault. It was my husband's fault because he wasn't supportive. It was my children's fault because they were distracting. I didn't have any support from my family. It was everybody else's fault. I didn't have my help. I didn't have help. My upline lives 2 hours away. I can't ask her to come down and help me with stuff. So I blamed her for my business not being successful. But at no point when I went inactive, at that point, did I blame myself for the fact that I wasn't active, that I wasn't learning, that I wasn't listening, that I wasn't reading anything. I hadn't even opened my consultant starter guide. I'll be honest. I was a procrastinator, still am to some extent. But the biggest thing that for me was I had a really crappy mindset. So I already had made the decision I wasn't any good. I was looking at all these people who were doing really well in the business and I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, had never done Facebook until I joined Scentsy. So that was a whole new world for me. And I was leery of it, to be honest. So my skepticism of how to do these things was bad. I was also, believe it or not, I was extremely shy and introverted. I was not the person that would talk to anybody at a party. My husband is the second youngest of 10 kids, by the way. So it's really hard to be in a group setting for family functions and not want to talk to anybody. But I didn't. I would sit in the corner and unless somebody came and talked to me or asked me a question specifically, I didn't talk to anybody. So I was very shy. So you can imagine doing this kind of a business or any kind of a business, if you're not going to talk to people, you're not going to go very far. So I told myself I sucked. I wasn't any good. I'm shy, and I had already told myself, I'd already decided that I wasn't any good. So I couldn't change, nobody could change that for me. Only I could change that, okay? So the other things too I hear a lot is I'm not equipped. I'm not smart enough. I didn't graduate high school. I don't have a college degree. You know, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. You know, there's all this tech stuff is too beyond me. No one trained me is the other one I hear all the time. Well, anyway, I don't know how to do those things, so I don't do them. I don't know how to do a home party, so I don't do them. I don't know how to do a Facebook party, so I don't do them. I hear that a lot. I don't have the skills, or I don't know enough about Scentsy to do anything. My upline hasn't shown me anything. Those are the things I hear all the time, and those are 1,000% negativity, big time. But they're also a fixed mindset. They are already things that they've decided that's how it is. So no matter what I do, no matter what their upline does, no matter a sponsor does, no matter what anybody does, if they have a fixed mindset, only they are the ones that can change that. But you can give them the clue that that's what they're doing. And when they're doing that kind of thing, if you find yourself doing that, you're actually blocking yourself from the success that you deserve, okay? So I think it's possible that many of us have been keeping some secrets to ourselves, or we haven't been. Maybe it's just that we haven't been heard. Did you know that a very large percentage of the top performers in our company got where they are without any upline or training? Imagine when Scentsy first started, there was barely a workstation. There was no training center. There definitely wasn't any training information. They actually had a DVD back in those days because I got one in my starter kit. The starter kit, oh, yuck. It was so small and very, like it was a warmer, a bar of wax. I think there was a buddy. There was no cleaning products back then. There was none of that other stuff. There wasn't diffusers. There was nothing. You got your testers and your catalogs. I think that was it. Essentially, it's the host exclusive starter kit now, which is, you get more actually in the host exclusive starter kit than you did when I joined. But none of those people had any support, and they figured it out. They also didn't have anybody recognizing them or sending them happy mail or doing shout outs or coaching calls or doing incentives. They had nothing. So how did they succeed without all this extra help? They chose to do it. They saw an opportunity and they went for it. They made the decision to have a growth mindset that they were going to do this and make it work. Now, can you imagine when Scentsy started over 15 years ago, it only came to Canada 10 years ago. So it's still so pretty new actually when you think about it. But imagine starting a new business with a company that's relatively new, that is still figuring it out. They still haven't taken the training wheels off yet, so to speak. And they're figuring it out. Okay? So back in those days, anybody could buy a starter kit and anybody could be a sponsor. There was no training involved. No one had to do it. You just did it. So now we have all of these things. We have all of this opportunity, all of this training, and sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. But ultimately, you have to decide what you want and keep it down to the basics here. Like your starter kit is your basics, your consultant starter guide. The training that Scentsy gives you in the beginning is the nitty-gritty, dirty basics. This training group for Leap to Lead is the literal basics of everything that I learned in 4 years as a consultant. Okay? So you have to, when you feel like you are in a place that you kind of feel like you're derailing. Maybe some of you have just started and you feel like, I'm already not succeeding at this, I'm giving up. How many of you have said that? I'm sure a couple of you have thought it, at least. I know some people who have thought that before they even got their starter kit. So here's a little situation. I actually have a little graphic. It's kind of cute. Oh, sorry guys. It's this little graphic here. Okay. So here's the difference. There's your fixed mindset. That's your growth mindset. See, it's like a tree, it's growing. So what you can say to yourself, okay? So instead of saying, I'm not good at this, you can say, what am I missing? Or what can I learn? Instead of saying, I give up, say, I'll use some of the strategies that I've learned, or I'm going to learn some strategies, or I'm going to reach out to my sponsor or my upline for help. But here's the thing. If you're willing to ask for help, you have to also be willing to learn. And if you're not willing to learn, if you've already decided you suck, nothing I can do can change that for you. Other than to tell you, you don't suck. You're just learning. You haven't learned it yet. So here's a saying. When you haven't learned how to do something, you just haven't learned how to do it yet. So when you say I suck, no, you don't suck. I have not learned that yet. Okay? I can't make this any better. You could say instead, I can always improve, so I'll just keep trying. I made a mistake, so I'm giving up. Mistakes is a growth mindset. Mistakes can help you learn better. Guys, do you think that as a director, I'm perfect? Heck no. I fumble all the time. I am not perfect. I learn on a constant basis how to not only improve myself, but how to improve my business, how to learn new techniques, especially as our world is ever changing. We're always have to be constantly learning. Just because you don't know it now doesn't mean you won't know it yet. And there's a lot of things that I don't know how to do, but I'm learning how to do a lot of the things that I've always wanted to do. Okay? Plan A didn't work, so forget it. So you joined Scentsy, you haven't even gotten your starter kit yet. You'll hear this with people that are joining. And they posted once on Facebook and nobody was interested. So they've given up before they've even started. I hear this a lot, especially in the beginning of incentives. They see the incentive amounts and they go, oh, forget it. I can't do that. They've already decided they can't do it. Have you done that before? Have you looked at something and going, there's no way I'm going to do that? Let me ask you a question. Has anybody ever wished to win the lottery? It's probably the thing that my husband blows out birthday candles for every birthday. Here's the thing. You can't win the lottery unless you buy a ticket. Unless you try to play the lottery. Okay? So it's the same thing. You have to have the mindset. You can't just sit in your house and never buy a ticket and hope and wish to win the lottery. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to retrain your brain to think in a different way. Okay? So, here's another one. Don't compare yourself to other people. You shouldn't compare where you are in your journey to where I am in mine. Absolutely. You should never compare yourself to anybody. You are one of a kind. Here's the Scentsy motto. Okay? Be authentic, be genuine, and be inspiring. No one, at no point did they say be a cookie cutter of the exact same, of every single consultant ever. Because that could never happen. And the idea of normal drives me crazy because what my normal is not what your normal is. And you should never try to change your life to be my normal. Because it's not unrealistic. Nor difference should I try to change my life to be your normal. Because what's normal for you isn't always normal. But you should always strive for your dreams. Strive for the things that you want in life. Are you struggling to get out of debt? Do you have something you want to pay for? Then make a goal and make a plan and take the steps forward to do that. Okay? Do you like living in the conditions that you're in? Then you choose to change those conditions by utilizing the tools that I'm giving you to work your business. It is completely possible. You guys, like I've been hearing over the last 2 months, there's people that joined in March have already hit director because they chose to go for it. They chose to do whatever it took to promote to director. It's possible, you guys. Like literally in the last day, I've seen 8 people in our upline that have promoted to director since they joined in March. It's completely possible. You know what the secrets are? I'm going to tell you right now. Recruiting is number 1. Having more than just minimum 200 PRV in sales, you have to have at least 500 PRV in sales. And heck, if you want to make an income at this business, you need to shoot for more. You know what? All the big people that, you know, all the people that really do this as an income for this business, 2,000 minimum is their PRV because they're making 25 plus. Actually, when you make over 2,000 PRV, you make 30% commission, you guys. That's a lot of money in just their personal sales. And then when they're recruiting people, you're making a bonus off of the people who join under you. Now, when those people recruit and join, the more you grow. It's just math, really, but it's doable. The system works. Believe me, it does. But you have to choose to make it work, okay? So, I promise you can have the best support in the world and still do terribly. Because no matter what your situation is, you are learning and you're growing and your training is really up to you. So listening and learning isn't enough. You have to take action. So all the things that I'm teaching you and I'm having you write down, if you don't put those tools into play, then the game doesn't work. Nobody's playing the game, okay? And you're never going to get where you want to be. You're never going to see the things that you want to achieve, okay? So if your dreams are as big as they should be, and you wouldn't want to stop, you wouldn't be stopped by anything. So for instance, how many of you got little kids? How many of you have always dreamed about taking your kids to Disney? You can do that. If you set a goal, if you do your research, right? Find out how much it's going to cost, where the hotel is, how much the flights are, when the world opens up again. But even still, if you decide this is your goal, this is what you want, you do your research, you figure it out, you make a goal, and you make it happen. Nothing's going to stop you because you're doing this. But only you stop you. Nobody else stops you. You stop you. You can do anything you want to do. Here's the thing, you guys. I went inactive, but I came back. And I got determined because I realized in the month that I was not a consultant that I wanted it badly. I not only wanted my business to succeed, I knew it could. I knew I needed it to work for my own self. I needed to grow. I needed my business to work effectively. And the only reason it could do that is by me changing me, is me making it happen. Nobody else can make that happen. And my family, as I came out of the shadows because I was so quiet and reserved, didn't want to talk to people, I was very depressed. I had anxiety about leaving my house. As I got out of my comfort zone, I realized there was this pretty awesome flippin' world outside of that comfort zone. And I came out of it and I started to find myself again. And I stopped being so afraid because there was nothing to be afraid of. I was so afraid that somebody would talk to me. And what was the worst thing that was going to happen? I would have a good time. Yep. I was afraid that if I asked somebody to join my team or host a party or buy Scentsy, that they would say no and I would blow up. But that didn't happen. So the more I did it and the more people that said yes, I was just like, holy crow, I can actually do this. And then the month after I came back, I had 3 recruits. Okay? A year after I hit Star Consultant. So I made it happen. Now, I stayed at Star Consultant for a while, and then I promoted, basically a double promoted, about 4 years later, and I had some stuff happen. I have some health issues, and stuff happens, life happens, right? But ultimately, I chose to put my business on a back burner. I was doing it as a hobby. And then I went to a convention. I went to Indianapolis and everything changed. So for those of you that are signed up to Virtual SFR, awesome. It will change your business. You need to just show up, all right? And have an open mind. Be open to growing your business, okay? Everything will change. But literally, it's not the same thing as going to these amazing events. But we'll get there one day. But that changed everything for me. It changed me as a person. I didn't realize how controlling I was with my family, how much I didn't let my husband be a part of our family, and I was trying to control everything. And I had this idea in my head of everything that was supposed to be happening and what he was thinking and all these internal dialogues in my head, and I was making up crap in my head that wasn't actually happening. And I realized I was a bit crazy. It really is. I was like, wow. Okay, you literally needed to like step away to realize how crazy you are. You need to calm the heck down. And then I found myself. It was the best thing I ever did. And because I found myself, I'm able to be a better mom, a better wife, a better business person, because I was able to wake up and stop the crap that I was putting myself through. I literally was derailing my life and my business and my family for garbage, for just fear, essentially. So, regardless of any situation that you're in, you are the ones who decide what to do with everything that you've got. If you ever find an excuse that is worth stopping you, then you're looking for an excuse. And the thing is, excuses only hurt you, okay? The excuses that you tell people are really just because you just didn't want to do it in the first place. If you ever find, okay, so I just read that. So if I can't even talk now. If you ever find an excuse that is worth stopping you, then you were looking for an excuse. You were trying to find permission to perform badly, but guess what? It's 2020 and it's time to go. And let me tell you, based on the numbers from Scentsy head office, Scentsy sold $74 million in the month. Actually, is it $1 billion? I think it's like $74 billion in product in one freaking month. It's possible, you guys. People are shopping. People are joining. People are doing it. But if you are telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you can't do this, that you're limiting yourself for whatever reason, you have to really, really seriously evaluate, is it worth it? Is your dream not worth it enough for you to go for it? Okay? All right. So, I don't know. So if you don't know how to do something, ask. Okay? It's that simple. But you have to be willing to try. All right? So, tonight's homework. I popped a link above and I really want you to watch it. Heidi Thompson is our CEO. She shared this incredible speech at one of our conventions in 2017. And it brought me to tears. I'm sure it will to you as well. But I want you to hear Heidi's story. Heidi shares an interesting story of when Scentsy first began and how she had a fixed mindset and she undervalued herself. And I really think you need to listen to it. So also, I want you to write down some key talking points tonight from tonight's video. And I want you to really seriously think about when you're asking yourself these questions, seriously evaluate it. Is this going to help me or is this holding me back? You are the only ones that have the keys to your life. You're the only one driving. If you give your keys to somebody else, you're going to be really disappointed about the destination you end up at. So take your keys back, drive your life, make decisions. You can do this. And I'm here to support you and cheer you along the entire way. Okay? So go ahead, read the description above, watch that video because it's really important. Tell me what you took away from that video. Write down in your notebook, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.